China has postponed the lifting of a ban on the trade of rhino horn and tiger parts for medicine and other uses. Environmental groups say lifting the ban would have been disastrous, even if animal parts were only sourced from those bred in captivity. Now, under the plan announced in October, a lifting of the ban would have applied to animal parts to be used for medicinal and scientific research, education and cultural exchanges. China now says it will continue to organize special crackdown campaigns with a focus on addressing the illegal trade of rhinos and tigers and their byproducts. Well, environmental groups have hailed China's decision to postpone the lifting of the ban. And for more on this, we're now joined in studio by Dr. Coleman O'Creodine. He's from the World Wildlife Fund. Dr. O'Creodine, thank you so much for joining us. So China is now postponing that lifting of the ban and saying that they're going to organize special crackdown campaigns. Good news, Shirley.
Definitely good news. Bear in mind, there may have been cynical China watchers who would have thought that if China reconsidered what they had announced, they would simply stay silent and not give effect to the regulations that would have given their announcement practical effect. If they had done that, there would still have been the risk that demand would have been kept alive. It would have still sent the wrong signal. Instead, they have actually announced that they're going to postpone giving effect to these measures, which is a positive signal. And it gives us the chance to work with them. It gives them the chance to reflect on what is the best way going forward. And we're very pleased, of course, too, that they announced these crackdowns. And they do have a relatively good record with enforcement within their own territory on wildlife trafficking issues.
And how important is the role of governments in terms of addressing issues of demand? I mean, in specifically with regards to the political will of a particular government? Well,
China comes out relatively well in that respect up until now. Of course, had this gone ahead, it would have been a negative signal. But China, when they banned rhino horn and tiger bone trade in 1993, it was also removed from the traditional Chinese medicine pharmacopoeia. And that was a very strong signal. Whereas, unfortunately, in neighboring Vietnam, although there have been demand reduction measures in the last few years, they've been much more soft focused, and we don't get the sense with the Vietnamese government that they are really serious about tackling the trafficking of rhino horn, tiger parts, ivory and other endangered wildlife products that's going on in their country.
And what about on this end, on the supply side, I imagine, is there enough being done by African governments to protect the environment?
It's a mixed story, as it is in Asia, and of course we acknowledge that there are capacity issues. So taking Kenya as an example, Kenya has really stepped up their legislation. They've done great work in relation to anti-poaching efforts. We would still like them to do more in relation to anti-trafficking, because as matters stand, Mombasa is the biggest exit point for illegal ivory exiting Africa. In terms of rhinos, of course, Mozambique is an important exit point, and we're not saying there's a lack of political will there. There is a lack of capacity, but you know, the East African coast, the three big ports, Maputo, Zanzibar and Mombasa, these are the places to watch really at the African end.
Indeed. Well, thank you so much, Dr. O'Creodine, for joining us here in studio. He is from the World Wildlife Fund.